It was his custom to keep a written account of his daily life and actions, and after his death, his executor found a small trunk in which was nearly 100 small passbooks, each closely written and covering the everyday life of this singular man for nearly 50 years. We had journals which covered William Lewis's life from the time he started writing his first journal at age 17 in Rindge, New Hampshire in 1836, to the last journal we believe he wrote 2 years before he died in 1895. We have just about 350 volumes, journals and receipt books and records of William Lewis's life. Welcome with all thy numerous songsters of the grove to tune their notes to melody and to charm our hearts with notes of love and pleasure. Welcome with all thy train of herbs and flowers that yield to nature the most beautiful appearance that the eye can behold. He writes long, long daily entries. Almost all of those are musings on the state of his soul. William Lewis can be a very frustrating person at times because of the information he leaves out of his diary entries, but only hints at. So we know sometimes that he's extremely depressed. In fact, at one point in 1843-44, his diary entries sound really almost suicidal because he's depressed being out of work. My mind involuntarily turns to muse upon the probability that there are thousands of the human family suffering under the severity of this inclement storm. I think his diary for him is a confidant and like a substitute family member. So when you read it, it almost makes you feel like a relative or someone whose shoulder he cries on. And so you get to know him that way. He's always measuring himself against the same day a year before. On his birthday, evaluating the past year to see if he could have done things better. On New Year's Eve, he will do this. Sometimes he does it every Sunday and simply evaluates the week. How sweet it is to the reflecting mind to spend an hour at the closing up of the day in secret meditation upon the scenes of the past day. Often I have strayed from home into the grove or fields at the gentle hour of sunset and watched the king of the day, the sun, as he disappeared behind the western mountains, and listened to the music of the birds as they sang their farewell songs to him and retired to their place of rest. Yes, I have stood and looked on when all nature seemed to be employed in praising the creator of the world. But the survival rate of these accounts, I think that's one of the remarkable things, that tiny little paper journal that he started when he was 17 years old could have traveled with him from place to place, from boarding house to boarding house, and still be intact today is probably what's extraordinary. We discovered him, and that was an adventure, but in the course of reading about him, we discover who he is. And in the course of his life, William Lewis seems to find himself. When he finally gets his farm, that's when he seems to blossom and really come into his own and feel a consistent joy in his life.